What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Real Ones Canes podcast. He is Brandon O'Doy. I'm Brian the Beast London. We're live, or kind of live, from the swamp in Gainesville, where the Canes just put the hammer down on the Gators. Brandon, it was a pretty thorough beating of the Florida Gators here in the swamp. Miami showed that, at least in game one, they came to play.
Yeah, pretty good first effort for the Hurricanes. Cam Ward is, as advertised, he's the guy that's coming back and doing the things that this Miami Hurricane team needs him to do as a playmaker. And one of the things that you like to see is a patient runner in Damian Martinez. Mark Fletcher coming back off of injury for 2 touchdowns. You see the arrival of Mr. Isaiah Horton. Xavier Restrepo was Xavier Restrepo. Sammy Brown got involved. And oh, by the way, we have tight ends.
Yeah, a couple of tight ends. Cam McCormick, good for him to get a touchdown. And then, my boy, who's been my boy for like 78 years, Elijah Arroyo, got involved. I think the thing that really showed out today was that communication between Cam and the receivers. When he was improvising, they kind of knew where to be. They got in open spaces. We saw that with X. We saw it with Isaiah. We saw it with Jacoby George on the touchdown. Just, it's like they've been playing together for years.
Yeah, I've been hearing lots of stories about those guys hanging out nonstop, not just about on the field working out, but just being brothers. And that stuff can translate, man. When things do not go the way they're supposed to go, when we're unscripted, it's about me knowing what you're going to do. And that's why you saw a lot of big plays. I think the touchdown to Jacoby George back here in the end zone is evident of that. That was playing yard ball. And, when you got an offensive line that's blocking the way, God forgive me for ever questioning those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, if they never looked as good as they looked tonight, that's the kind of performance you want to have if you're at the University of Miami, trying to be taken serious in college football, coming into the SEC, packed home crowd. They said 90K. It wasn't that many people here, but it was a lot of people here. And at the end of the day, I don't have too much negative to say about it. I don't have anything negative to say about it.
I think the defense came as well, especially as the game started to progress. They really found their footing. They got to Mertz. They knocked him out of the game. I was kind of worried about the secondary, but Mish Powell and those boys came and did their job.
Secondary is probably the biggest bright spot to me, the biggest surprise, because you talk all offseason about, okay, what are areas of concern? Secondary always comes up number one. Secondary offensive line. Well, secondary started a true freshman almost in O.J. Federic. I talked to him after the game. I said, man, nobody I've seen do that, since maybe Denzel Ward come in here and play.
Right.
But he didn't play Florida his first game.
No.
And he didn't play on the road. And so the trust, all of that stuff that goes into it, how big he played, Mish Powell fit right in. He should have scored. Somebody missed the block. That guy owes him a steak dinner.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Jaden played well. He overran a play. It caused the touchdown. He'll learn from that. He hasn't been a full-time starter. He is now. He's super fast. You saw him get the sack off the edge. From my hometown, my high school. So I'm always going to, defend him. But at the end of the day, that backfield was solid. You look at Daryl Porter. I had been asking the question, who's going to take the Corey Couch spot?
Right.
And Porter looks like the guy.
Yep.
They're going to put Richard on one side. Brown went out injured, and they still continue. Richard, he filled in. Federic played well. There was a lot of positive. Markeith Williams played. They played a lot of guys back there today.
Yeah, they played a lot of guys at the back. They played a lot of guys in the front. There was rotations everywhere.
That D-line, man, there might have been 10 guys. I lost track. I didn't have a pin in the press box.
Yeah, true.
There was a lot of dudes that played.
Speaking of the defensive line, Ruben Bain, as well as Damari Brown and Rodriguez, both minor injuries. They might miss a week or two because
they're not going to play them against FAMU. You won't see them against Ball State.
Yeah.
You're going to see these boys go in the lab. You'll see them again in Tampa. There's a lot of depth. Let these freshmen play their redshirt games. You saw a little from Scott, nothing from Blunt. You'll see those guys coming in the future. But Ruben, I don't expect to see him for a couple of weeks. He looked good. He walked around after the game. I talked to him. And at the end of the day, he's fine. Brown is fine, I believe. Nixon, if something big is happening, it's not evident. These guys are walking out of the locker.
No, Mario.
So that's just by visual. I don't know anything.
Mario said in the postgame presser it was nothing major. Real quick, before we get out of here, just your thoughts on this team. I mean, it's easy to get carried away after a win against a rival in the stadium like this. But, just what are your thoughts moving forward? You got you got to, as good as you feel, sometimes you have to keep yourself level-headed.
Well, you absolutely do, because you don't know how good this team was that you beat.
Right.
You can't say, I mean, yeah, you would like to say we beat Florida, we beat a top-notch SEC team, but they were not ranked. And you kind of saw why tonight. At the end of the day, you don't know what they're going to become, so you don't know how good you actually are. So you have to be level-headed. You did the job. 1-0 you went, and now you got to get back to work. I talked to a couple of coaches, behind the scenes, and, just relationships. I'm back there as they're walking out, and, they were just like, okay, yeah, we don't really know. We did what we needed to do, but we don't really know who we are yet. And that'll become evident as time goes on. I'm not going to be big on big pronouncements. I already said 10 wins. I still believe in that.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, you have to improve every week. There was a lot of stuff left out.
Oh, true.
You get Jordan Lyle, a true freshman. I don't like that check down. Check down to Horton. Lyle comes up a yard short, and he's a true freshman. I'm not going to complain. He played a great game, but you left that on the board. Borregales has got to make that field goal. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Horton missed a wide open pass here that could have blown things open. X missed a couple of things that he never misses, even though they were spectacular catches.
Right.
He usually makes those, and so there's a lot of stuff to grow, a lot of room to improve. So, I'm not being harsh, I'm just being honest. But we won't really know. I think we'll know halfway through. At the halfway mark, we'll know this team's really, really good, or this team's solid, or this team's not quite what we thought they were going to be.
We will have more on this game and preview the next one, and any news and notes we're coming up later this week. Make sure you subscribe. Real Ones Canes podcast. For Brandon O'Doy, I'm Brian London. The Beast from the Swamp. Canes, big winners tonight against the Gators. Peace.